Professor Seligman, it's so good to check in with you here. You are the foremost expert on positive psychology. And during a time like now with the pandemic, how does that psychology come into play?
Well, there's some interesting findings about infectious illness and positive psychology. And it suggests that during the pandemic, what you should be doing is having as much fun as you possibly can. What this comes from is a literature in which Sheldon Cohn injects rhinovirus into people's noses to produce colds. And he basically finds that positively affective people are much less susceptible to getting a cold, and they get shorter colds than people who don't have a lot of positive affect. The more good cheer, merry, fun, good food, sex that you can have during this pandemic, that's the one thing positive psychology tells us about infectious illness. It's a leap, but it's based on some pretty good science. So PERMA, P-E-R-M-A, which I wish for all of you, is what free, non-suffering people pursue, in addition to getting rid of that which cripples life.
And can you talk a little bit about PERMA and how those elements can be kind of compromised during times like these?
PERMA are the five main pillars of positive psychology. The first is P, positive emotion, and it turns out that's probably the key one during the pandemic. The second one is E, that's engagement, and that's when time stops for you, when you're one with the music. So this is the time to be reading Stephen King novels. R is relationships, good relationships. So if you're isolating alone, it's very important to go out into the world, to do Zoom, to talk with your friends, to write letters, to keep relationships going and devote more time to them than you would have otherwise. M is meaning and purpose in life. Meaning and purpose is serving and belonging to something you think is larger than you are. And A in PERMA is accomplishment, mastery, competence, and the like. So you want to be accomplishing something as best you can during this. So that's what PERMA tells us to be doing.
And can you talk a little bit about the idea of a gratitude journal?
In the gratitude visit, I ask you, close your eyes, Mike.
All right.
Think of someone who years ago did or said something for you that changed your life for the positive. Someone who's still alive and who you never properly thanked. Okay, open your eyes. Did you think of someone?
Yeah.
Okay, here's your assignment for today. Write a 300-word essay. What did she say and do that affected you? Secondly, how it affected you and changed your life. And 3, where you are in life now as a result of this.
It's Mr. Timmy. He was my high school. I grew up in Colorado, and I was taking classes and ended up, he taught me how to edit on iMovie. And we were having this conversation, it changed my whole life, because had I not taken...
Right, so here's what you do now. Email him and tell him you'd like to set up a Zoom session with him. And when he comes on, you read the testimonial to him. And what we find is both people typically weep, and positive emotion goes markedly up in both people, particularly the giver of the gratitude.
That's cool. That is a great idea. And I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because it really did change my life, and I hadn't thought of that guy forever, and yet such an instrumental part of my life.
Okay, will you do this tonight, Mike?
I will. And I appreciate all your guidance during this conversation. And I'll try to up my Zoom background game in the future.
Okay, Mike.
All right. Thanks so much.